everybody. It is March 13th, 2025, and I am thankful that I am still here and still alive. That's right. It is time for episode 258. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You are what's keeping me coming back week after week. If you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe. You want your opportunity to be on the podcast, you know the email. Go ahead and send one. Send an audio, video, or type it out, but you got to send it over to the official email of the podcast. And then don't forget about that Linktree link. It's in the description below the video, along with all of today's links in this episode. And now with all that out of the way, let's get into today's pod. So everybody, I got super sick, super ill, and it knocked me down. That's right. I couldn't move. My whole body was aching, and I got through it. I'm alive. Yay! And I don't care what it was. No, everybody wants to know what it was. What was it? What got you? Don't care. Don't care. How's that? How about we go back to that? None of your business. It's none of your business. No one should know. It doesn't matter. I was told that I had to go take a test. And then when I showed up to work on Saturday, they were like, "Did you take that?" And I go, "No, I didn't take it." And he was like, "Why?" And I go, "Because my wife said it wasn't covered by insurance, and she knows how tight money is right now, so she didn't pick one up." And we just got through it. That's what we did. We got through it. Well, now that's rude. How rude of you. What if you got everybody else sick? That's the way it works, everybody. Everybody gets sick from everybody. That's how all this works. I don't know. I get so mad about it, and I got so many things on this pod today that are going to dig into it, especially digging into some of the stuff that I don't know much about. But you know what? We're going to dig into all of it today. But at the end of the day, man, I was like, no, I didn't do it. You didn't have $10? No, I don't have $10 right now. No, I don't. Do you have $10? I was just watching last week's Luke Thomas podcast that he streamed during the boxing fight over the weekend, and his friend that was on had just been laid off, and he's like, "Should I file for unemployment?" Yes. If you have been working and you now are out of a job and you don't have a job lined up, yes. Sign up for unemployment. Get what's owed to you. It's not much. They're not even paying you 43% of your pay anymore. It is based off of a 2007 system. It's broken and probably just as corrupt as everything else that we're looking at today. But at the end of the day, 43% is better than 0%. And just because you file for unemployment doesn't mean you have to actually use it. If you find a job before your unemployment kicks in, good for you. That's what happened to me. But I filed. And then as soon as I found a job, all you have to do is not file anymore, and it goes away. So, yes, file for unemployment, take advantage of everything that you can, get your money, and then get yourself a new job and figure it out from there. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 months now, and it's been working okay. Do I still need more? Yes, still need more, but we're making what we have work, and that's all you can do, because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, man, anything over 50% of what I used to have coming in is better than zero, everybody. It's always better than zero. So you just have to figure out how to turn that zero into something more. You know what I mean? Or turn that 50% into something more. You know, maybe where you were at and where you're going, it could be what you needed. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself right now. A lot of this is reflection about what's going on with myself. But so instead of me like, continuing to ramble on like I always do, I'm still on some medicine here. I'm still, dealing with it, and I'm still trying to push through as if I'm not affected by it. But at the end of the day, my wife even said, "Hey, I let you sleep because you're sick. You need to sleep." And I'm like, "No, I need to do things." And now I feel groggy and tired. So she's always right. She's always right. And she's always right about getting rest. And I'm just not good at it. I feel as if I've fallen behind. I've lost 3 days now. It is all piling up on me, and I'm allowing it to because I work better under stress. Are you one of those people? I used to have managers back in the day that would know exactly what buttons to push to not only just kind of piss me off a little bit, but it was always motivation to get whatever I had done quickly. And they knew that. And I always appreciated those type of managers that, like, they'll push your buttons, but they're not doing it to really piss you off. They're doing it because they know that it motivates you to work harder and faster. So, you got to utilize your tools, everybody. And right now I am feeling reasonably good. I'm looking forward to eating more solid foods, and I'm looking forward to at least Thursday coming now, because at least then this will be a week behind me, and hopefully I'll be almost 100% of what I used to be. But we need to get off of this everybody needs to know what I had type of situation, and just deal with what you're dealing with, get through it, and then move on. That's the way the world used to work. But let's get into some Topher's topics now. All right, so my first topic, we're talking Doge today, man. Doge, 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 all right? Look, I can't say much about what is actually happening, what they are actually dismantling. All I can tell you is that I do believe in absolute corruption within our government. It's there. It's been there. I'm hoping it's not always going to be there. But what I'm noticing is that everybody is up in arms right now. Oh, Elon's doing this. Elon's doing that. Trump's backing him up. Oh, my God, he's destroying everything. He's going to do this. Yes, everybody. This is what we wanted. Okay? This is where we're at. We want the corruption to stop. We want the buck to be passed back to us. It's never going to happen that way. And I have come to terms with this. But at the end of the day, if they find more and more corruption, why do these industries get to keep surviving? They shouldn't get to survive anymore. And we are not even out of the first 100 days. So why is it already everybody's like, well, they're already tanking in the polls and they're doing this and the people hate them? And look, yes, this is what happens every time. Okay? This is what happens every single time. The people that didn't vote for this hate it. The people that voted for it, well, we could be on opposite sides of the fence. We could be happy that it's going in this direction, and we could be upset that it's going in this direction. But at the end of the day, can we just let them get through the first 100 days? Can we just let them do what they're doing and see where it brings us? But no, instead, everybody wants to be like, no, we need to stop this now. Stop. Why? Let's see what happens. We've tried it the other way. I don't know how many times. And it hasn't gotten any better for us at all. So maybe, just maybe, if we think real hard about it and we just sit back and, I don't know, kind of watch like an experiment. Is this going to work out? We won't know until they actually do what they said that they were going to do, and we actually allow them to go through with what they're doing. Yes, I agree when people say, hey, well, you don't want billionaires running the world. Well, the world is a giant corporation now. We've made it this way. We've allowed it to become what it is, a business. The United States of America is not what it once was. It's a giant corporation. It's a business. China is a giant corporation. It's a business. This is the way of the world now. So maybe politicians are not what we need anymore. Maybe it is businessmen. Who knows? I don't know. I could be absolutely positively wrong. But at the end of the day, I want to see what's going to happen. So let's see what happens, right? And now that I've gone off on that tangent, Uber CEO says Musk wants to go alone on the Tesla robotaxi rollout. You seen these things? Look at this thing. So Tesla's cybertaxi, robotaxi, is displayed during the Automobility LA 2024 Auto Show at Los Angeles Convention Center, November 21st, 2024. These are wild looking. But I guess somehow, some way, Trump cut the Uber CEO out of the reveal of these new taxis. And as the world is going more towards AI and everything else, it seems like this is the new way of the world. I don't believe that Elon is the answer to everything. I don't believe that Trump will ever pass a constitutional law. He's not going to be able to do anything to the Constitution to change the fact that, a president can do more than 2 terms. I don't think any of that's going to happen. If it does, well, I'll eat my words. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is these guys are going to do what they're doing. It's either going to make or break us. And for everybody who is involved in these cuts and these terminations and everything that's going on there, I feel for you. I've been let go. But that's what the owners of the company got to choose. And right now, Elon and Trump are the owners of this company we call America right now. And I think it's all starting to work out because they are starting to really find some deep corruption. And we all knew it was there. But yet, when they show us that it was there, more people are like up in arms and angry about it. Like the list of people who have been collecting Social Security that are not alive. Well, where are those checks going? Who's cashing them? Right? Family members that used a dead family member to collect and keep collecting? It's possible. That's happened. Or was this the government's way of skimming more money out of us? Look, it's very possible it could be both scenarios. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. I think it's a bunch of shit. But look at this list. We should not worry. Only millions of our money was going to waste. Checking DOGE.gov is like watching a new stock rocket up in value. Good news. Long overdue. U.S. taxpayer dollars were going to be spent on the following items, all which have been canceled. Dude, this is crazy. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with emphasize-driven skills. $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center. $40 million for Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Hub. $14 million for improving public procurement in Siberia. Yeah, that's necessary. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Processes Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political processes in Bolivia, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. $29 million to strengthen political landscape in Bangladesh. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in Southern Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase social economic cohesion among marginalized communities of Kosovo, Roma, Akhlaq, and Egypt. Dude, all I'm seeing here is over $1 trillion. $1 trillion worth of our money going to other countries to help them. That's all I'm seeing. This is what we keep talking about. This is what I keep seeing. We give money to Ukraine. Now Zelensky wants to back out as long as we go into NATO. We are almost at the point where we're backing out of NATO. This whole thing is crazy to me. The whole thing. And all this money that's going to other places, like that list of Social Security. We all knew or heard of this existing. But when it's actually brought to light, now everybody's like, well, no, wait, no. There was nothing wrong with sending money over here or doing this over here. This is what we set these up for. This is all for our benefit. Is it? Or is it a way to take our money and put it into something that benefits them? Isn't it always about them? Whoever them is, who are they? Well, our government. Our government who? All the letters. All the letters. That's who benefits from all of this. That's why I'm kind of happy that this is happening. Why we are uncovering and showing this corruption today. Breaking exclusive analysis. President Trump and the Doge revolution have successfully broken the back end of the deep state. Top Dems now believe their party is officially dead. But I want to see what this is all about. Because what did we actually break open? Now, this is over 23 minutes long. I'm going to play the first couple minutes and see where it takes us.
And what I'm about to say has been said in other ways, and it's been foreshadowed, but I want to be 100% clear. We'll put up the live show headline from X if we can. The back of the globalists, the back of the Democratic Party has been irrevocably broken, and there is no way that they will ever come back from what they've done. And then just accelerating their total destruction is their absolute defense of the over-the-top, maniac-level corruption in these different federal agencies like USAID. Breaking exclusive analysis. President Trump and the DOGE revolution have successfully broken the back of the deep state. Top Dems now believe their party is officially dead, but Alex Jones warns we're not out of the woods yet. Please tune in and share that live feed because you are the Paul Reveres. And we have, more than ever, it's the quickening, just the most insane, wild, powerful clips. We have the Democrats spewing calls for open violence everywhere, the same talking points. Trump's coming to kill us. We got to kill him. We got to kill his supporters. I mean, it's totally illegal, and they're definitely not going to go away quietly.
3 hours?
And that will just extinct them even quicker.
So that is the question. Is the Democratic Party actually finally broken? It is possible. It is possible that it's finally broken. But you know who they have to blame for being broken? Themselves. They broke themselves. They have pushed so hard for their narrative that the world is throwing it back at them. Elon Musk, or Doge, to live stream a real video tour of Fort Knox, allowing Americans to verify the presence of 4,500 tons of gold stored there. So we have 4,580 tons of gold stored at Fort Knox. Let's see what Alex has to say about this.
Elon Musk just proposed about an hour ago, and he runs Doge, and it's going to happen. He's got the president behind him in the executive orders, that the audit of Fort Knox's gold will be done live for all the world to see. Any corporate media wants to be there, you name it, but X is going to stream it so people can make this big discovery for themselves. Total transparency as promised, and the corrupt deep state is crapping their britches. They found $4.7 trillion in payments yesterday that don't even describe where they're going. I mean, it's just hour by hour insanity is coming out. Absolutely insane. And from all the intel we've got, they've been scrambling that gold around, selling it, moving it. There's gold in some of the vaults, not just at Knox, but under the Federal Reserve main branch, the actual corporate control system there in New York. And most of the gold that is still there is now under the ownership of other countries, other corporations. So it's not just that gold's missing. That's the intel we've had for a long time. So there hadn't been a real audit since 1974. Ron Paul tried to get in there, and they gave him a bunch of runaround for 10 years, and he just couldn't get in there. So this is a big deal, folks. Live coverage. And if the gold's there, that'll be really great, won't it? Funny, though, that about a week before Trump got sworn in a month ago, just about 5 weeks ago, all of a sudden record levels of gold was being shipped back to the United States to New York. You see, that's the private Federal Reserve. There's 12 member banks, and they actually have some government functions, though they're not government, around the country. But it's the New York Fed, set up in 1913. It's the private corporation. It's the Board of Governors. You've got the head of it, Jerome Powell, recently saying, I'm not going to do anything Trump tells me. He can't. Yeah, but Congress created the Federal Reserve by an act of Congress. Though it's private, it can be abolished. It can have its charter pulled. So, and of course, the Federal Reserve's been heavily involved with the Treasury, playing around with the gold. According to Ron Paul's research, he's the top living expert on it, other than Shepard Griffin, who I need to get back on the show. We'll get him on. God bless.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, everybody. This is what makes me happy. Look, we need to do this. We need to audit everything. We need to have everything accounted for. There needs to be absolute positive transparency. And that is the one thing that has been missing. It's been missing for a long time. It's just them telling us what's going on and us going, okay. And for once, finally, these people are doing it. for us. They're showing us what's going on. They're showing us the audits. They're showing us the numbers. They are saying, hey, look, guys, girls, the world, we found all of this. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with our money, then you don't get our money anymore. So how is this a bad thing? That's what I keep going back to. How is what Doge is doing bad when they're showing us all the corruption? You know, I don't think anybody can ever be happy completely, because nobody was happy that we were having no transparency and that we felt like the government was just taking advantage of all of us. And now nobody's happy that we found out that the government was taking full advantage of us and hiding it from us. So now the transparency is making people upset. I understand there is a lot at stake here today. There's a lot of people that could lose their federal funding, their jobs, their livelihood. But the thing that I still truthfully do believe in is that if there's nothing to hide, if there's nothing to hide, then you have nothing to worry about. Your federal funding won't stop. Your jobs will not come to an end, because the money that you are getting from the federal government is actually doing what it said it was doing. But the people that should be a little worried, that have government jobs that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, are finally going to get stopped. They're going to get stopped. And again, I will say that I don't think this is going to financially benefit any of us. That $5,000 that everybody's talking about right now, I don't understand how hard this is for everybody. Don't hang your hat on that. But man, I wish more people would stop depending on our government to do anything for us. We have to do everything ourselves. They are corrupt. They are stealing from us, and we are finally finding it. So for that, I thank Doge. But top security official steps down after a clash with Doge now. So, I mean,
President Trump and Elon Musk's latest moves to reshape the federal government. The top Social Security official stepped down after Musk's team requested access to sensitive personal data about millions of Americans. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is tracking it from Mar-a-Lago. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And this is just the latest official to leave after clashing with Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. And it comes as federal workers are bracing for more layoffs and firings today.
Elon Musk has got to go.
Overnight, protests popping up in cities across the country.
Where is Congress?
Hundreds demonstrating against President Trump and Elon Musk as they push forward with changes to shrink the size of the federal government. ABC News learning the top Social Security official has stepped down after clashing with the Department of Government Efficiency over access to the sensitive personal information of millions of Americans, including financial data and employment information.
President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the DOGE team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration.
Musk's team has also requested access to a data system at the IRS that retains Americans' personal tax information and includes their tax filings and bank statements. Democrats pushing back.
If you think there's fraud, then why did you fire all the inspector generals, okay? If you think there's something we can do here, then let's do this the right way.
Across the federal government, firings touching more than a dozen agencies, from the CDC to Veterans Affairs, and even the Federal Aviation Administration. At the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the union warning they expect a 50% cut to the workforce by May. Sources tell us 15,000 workers at the IRS have been identified for possible termination, with tax season just around the corner. Victoria tells us she was laid off from the Forest Service in Montana.
Elon Musk doesn't even know my job exists, right? But like, we do a lot. I mean, I'm a public servant, and I do this job because I love it. So yeah, I'm devastated, and my whole community lost their jobs, and I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Other government workers like Elizabeth Anaskevich, who works for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, says she doesn't even have enough information to file for unemployment.
We were just basically tossed out on the streets. And so that has been angering and heartbreaking. And our pay stopped the day we got the termination letter. So we're all without a paycheck as of Tuesday.
So, I mean, yes, it's not, I'm not happy about this, okay? I do want to make that very clear. I'm not happy that all these people are out of work. But if they were working for, something that wasn't doing exactly what it was supposed to be doing, then you weren't supposed to have the job in the first place. The fact that we depend on the federal government to do so much today is the reason we're in the predicament that we're in. And do you not think that all those records, the IRS, the all the things, all the sensitive information, and they are digging into it all? Who do you think has access to all of that anyways? Do you think no one sees it and it's actually secured? It's not secure. Somebody else has access to it. I don't know. Maybe I am that naive that I believe that Trump and Elon are not going to do negative things with that information. I think they're actually looking at that information to see what's real, what's not, and who's dead. They found so many dead people receiving money that maybe they have more dead people working in their facilities. Maybe some of those employees don't even exist. Maybe that's why they want access to the information. But at the end of the day, man, this can't all be bad. We've already dealt with everything that's been bad. So maybe this is actually good. But you got to give it a shot. You got to sit back and go, all right, well, let's see what happens. But no, instead, everybody wants to throw up arms, yell, stop, 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 Nazi, 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 and not allow them to do what we voted them in to do. And that's what irritates me, because when the Dems are in there and they're doing whatever they're doing, we're screaming and yelling, hey, we got to stop this, because we know what the outcome is. We know what happens. And we're sick of the outcome over and over and over again. Sick of the outcome, everybody. So, Doge team's wall of receipts shows errors in tallying billions. Now, this is 7 minutes long. I'm only going to play a couple moments of it. Let's listen. There's nothing wrong with listening, everybody. There's nothing wrong with it. You need to open up your ears. We need to be listening to everybody and stop attacking without listening. And I feel like everybody wants to be on the attack and nobody wants to actually listen.
We begin this hour with an interview that gave some insight into DOGE's operations within the federal government, but not really. This time, as the newly formed agency still faces multiple lawsuits. In a Fox News interview alongside President Trump, which aired last night, Elon Musk defended DOGE's work to cut costs.
I guess we must be over the target of doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful, I think.
Correct.
What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. One of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
Nancy, let me ask you, only Sean Hannity can do an interview for an hour with the most powerful man in America and President Trump and not really make any news, in the sense that this was billed as some kind of transparent interview where they were going to sort of give us the inner workings of what's happening with Doge, but we really didn't get anything. The president says Musk is the smartest person he knows. Musk says he's Trump's tech support. That's why he was wearing that corny T-shirt. So, but what did we really learn about what Doge is doing?
Right. You're definitely right that this was a friendly forum, shall we say, and a lot of the questions were variations on tell us why you are both so great and so smart and doing such important work and are so misunderstood. But it was interesting to watch the body language between Elon Musk and the president. Musk was very complimentary of President Trump, seems to be well aware of all the stories that have been out there about Trump ceding power to Musk and predicting that at some point Trump will grow tired of that. They even joked about all of those stories. And Musk and Trump really both defended the work that Musk is doing. He was wearing a T-shirt that said tech support, and he said it's basically there to carry out the president's vision and to make sure that what President Trump promised on the campaign trail becomes a reality. And President Trump, interestingly, said he relies on Musk very heavily to actually get things done. He says when he issues an executive order, it is Musk who actually makes sure that those executive orders get implemented at the various agencies. So he seemed quite content with Musk's role, quite reliant on him, despite some of the questions that have started popping up, even from some Republicans, about the work that that Doge is doing and the speed with which it's doing it, which has led to not only some lawsuits, but some questionable decisions.
Yes, that's what this is about, everybody. Finding the corruption, putting a stop to it. And you know who the lawsuits are? The people that were working for the companies that got shut down, that got fired, that got let go. As for the last clip, that girl that said that she didn't even have enough information to file for unemployment, that makes no sense to me. I filed my unemployment. There's not much information to give. Your name, your social security number, where you worked prior, how much money you made for the year, a week, and God, I think there was like one or two other things I had to click on there, and I was done. There is no amount of information other than that you need to file for unemployment. So what information could she have been missing for her unemployment? Honestly, I have no idea because I didn't have a problem doing it. So you worked for a federal agency. You should have no problem getting unemployment. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Some of these things I think are false, empty claims to make it seem like what they're doing is worse than what it seems. I think it's just about cleaning out corruption. And if all these people go on unemployment until they find another job, you worked for a federal agency. You're going to tell me your credentials or your resume isn't better than mine? You can't go find another job? I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And I know that it's really, really hard when you lose your job. But now you have to turn your job into finding a new job. That's it. Don't focus on what happened. Focus on where you're going. Because if all you do is focus on where you were and what you had, well, then you're not going anywhere. That's it. You're stuck. So you have to take the responsibility into your own hands. And the problem with today's society, everybody, is that everybody thinks that they need to be handed something. You don't get handed anything. Welcome to the real world. Your corporation or your federal agency that you were working for was corrupt and has now been shut down. It has been stopped because it's been corrupt. It's been taking money it didn't deserve. So technically, they never had the money to pay you in the first place. That's where I'm at with this. You were getting paid by funds that should have never existed. That's not our fault. That's the federal agency's fault for falsifying an agency that was doing nothing but taking money from American taxpayers for something that meant nothing. And that's the unfortunate part, is that you were involved with an agency that should have never existed. You know? And that's where I'm at with this, man. So, a judge will not block Musk and Doge from federal accessing data, making cuts at 7 federal agencies. So finally, a judge stepped in and said, you know what? I'm not blocking this. Let it go. Let it go. And I think this is probably one of the better ways that this could be going right now. I said this in the beginning. I'm not happy that people are losing their jobs, but I am happy that we're seeing a hell of a lot more of this corruption get stopped. And now a judge is going to allow him access to all of the information he needed to what? To find more corruption, everybody. This isn't because Elon wants my social security number to what? Take out a BJ's card? What the fuck are you going to get from me? Nothing. You get nothing from me. I have nothing. Most of us have nothing today. Go to the grocery store. Go buy your groceries. What's in your cart? Almost nothing. What comes out of your wallet? Pretty much everything. I'm hoping this gets fixed one day. But I think we're stuck in the world that we're in. Let's watch this video on this judge actually allowing Elon to move forward with his plan. Let's see.
Democratic lawmakers are sounding the alarm right now over the presence of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, around the IRS in the middle of tax season. DOGE is now requesting access to the tax records of millions of Americans, sparking concerns about the safety of taxpayer information. We're talking about things like your social security numbers and your bank account information. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi is following all of this for us and joins us from our Washington bureau. Olivia, help us understand why DOGE would seek out this deeply personal information and how it's important to their goals.
Yeah, good morning, Errol. Alarm is being raised about DOGE accessing this very sensitive material. It's part of the integrated data retrieval system within the IRS. And what it is it's the system that holds your bank account information, your social security number, the address in which you live at, all very sensitive material that goes into collecting taxes in the taxpayer system. According to the IRS, this system is a very secure system, and it's intended to add a layer of protection so that no one can just go into the IRS and access your sensitive information and material. Very few people have access to it, but what we do know is that the White House has given Elon Musk and DOGE access to this system. They say they are there looking for abuse, fraud, and inefficiencies. I do want to note, though, of several IRS employees, former employees that we have talked to here at CBS News, they tell us that this IRDS system is very antiquated, it's very old, it's written on some old code, and it's actually something that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had talked about previously, is something he wants to upgrade in this system. So we know that that's part of the intention of Musk and DOGE to go in there and find where the U.S. is spending a lot of taxpayer dollars and something that could be perhaps taken from being inefficient to a little bit more efficient. I also do want to note, though, that money was given to upgrade the system as part of the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed under the Biden administration. So there's already some funding in place to make sure that this system is upgraded from its very antiquated state that it's in right now. It's unclear what exactly Musk and Doge are going to do once they get in there and what inefficiencies and fraud they're actually looking for as part of the integrated data retrieval system. We'll be asking them specifically what they're doing with this sensitive material, though.
And there have been so many questions about Elon Musk, this billionaire, his role in government, and the power he has. I know that in a filing by the DOJ in the case of Musk versus New Mexico, we got some clarification on exactly his official role. Help us understand what it is.
Right, Errol. So we know that Musk has been serving as what's called a special government employee. Essentially, they have a designation, but we're learning now that he's also being called a senior advisor to Trump. That's an important distinction. That gives him a little bit more access than perhaps he would as a special government employee. They also clarified, and I do want to note this was quite interesting, they said that Musk is not the DOGE service administrator or an employee of the DOGE service. And as someone who has been talking about DOGE, it's notable that even the White House is saying that he's not exactly someone working for DOGE. But they also say that this role that he is serving in is similar to something we had seen before with Anita Dunn during the Biden administration. She was someone who was a longtime aide of Biden's, then served as senior advisor to him throughout the White House, which gave her broader access to the White House, Oval Office, and to Biden himself. And that's something they say that Elon Musk is mimicking right now in this role.
Yeah, not elected, but these people empowered by their proximity to the president.
I don't know what everybody is so worried about. What is he going to do? What is he going to do, everybody? Are you that worried that what? He's going to put a stop to your spending. He's going to use your Social Security number to what? Further bury you in debt? Look, our government and our economy has put all of us so far into debt, it's unbelievable. If there is any opportunity to hopefully pop that bubble, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. That's my thoughts on Doge, everybody. Like I said, I don't know a lot about politics. I don't know a lot about government. And I don't know a lot about Doge. But so far, everything that I'm hearing, everything I'm reading, and everything I'm listening to, I am very happy with it. Now, let's get into some theories, because now Trump declares war against chemtrails, and unmarked planes dump toxic payloads over the U.S. The chemtrails are back, and with them a toxic fog unlike anything we've ever seen. What changed? Insiders say the global elite weren't about to let their most critical operation die after the federal government pulled the plug on funding. Chemtrail programs are too big to fail, critical to the elite's agenda. So now they've gone private. America's skies are swarming with unmarked planes flying off radar, breaching airspace, and unleashing their payloads on unexpected public. This isn't just weather manipulation, it's warfare in plain sight. Again, you think that this federal agency needs funding? We need to be spraying more chemicals in the fucking sky? We need to be putting more chemicals and seeding more clouds to cause more rain? They have fucked up the weather so bad that everything is almost unpredictable. But you want to know, here's my theory. This was to help the weathermen. You ready for this, everybody? All right, here you go. We're having fun. Come on, have some fun with me. They have been manipulating the weather so that the weathermen can get it right. Have you noticed how much more accurate they are from the start of a storm to the end of a storm, to the accumulation, to anything that goes on, the accuracy is so good now. When it used to be absolutely horrible. They couldn't tell you when the rain was going to stop. They couldn't tell you how much snow we were going to get. They didn't know. They didn't know. And now all of a sudden, they know. Not only do they know, they can get it down to the hour. What changed? Oh, everything. Everything changed. We manipulated it so much that we changed it. And we made it easier to track. Hell, you want a storm over here? We'll make that storm happen. We can put that together for you. Check this out.
Last. Now they're back. And with them, a toxic fog unlike anything we've seen before. Lab tests confirm what many feared. This isn't just pollution. It's the same deadly cocktail of heavy metals, nano compounds, and now new pathogens. What changed? Insiders say the global elite weren't about to let the most critical operation die after the federal government pulled the plug on funding. Chemtrail programs are too big to fail, critical to the elite's agenda. So now they've gone private. America's skies are swarming with unmarked planes, flying off radar, breaching airspace, and unleashing their payloads on an unsuspecting public. This isn't just weather manipulation, it's warfare in plain sight. Tonight, we expose the secret funding behind the reboot, the science behind the poison, and most importantly, what we can do to stop it. The skies cleared, the haze lifted, and for a brief moment, people felt relief. Headaches eased, and the air smelled clean again. But now they're back. And while the media insists that nothing is happening, that anyone who questions it is just a paranoid conspiracy theorist, the evidence is undeniable. More people are documenting the trails, testing the fallout, and exposing the truth. The real tinfoil hat wearers are those still refusing to see what's right in front of them.
That does not look good, everybody. If you're not watching but listening, this is a plane flying through the sky, just dumping, I don't even know what, into the sky. But it is just a giant stream over and over again. And it stops, and then it goes. It stops, and then it goes. Which shows
Nothing
me...
to see here, folks. Just another...
shows me that it's not just the engine and condensation and something happening up in the air when the plane is flying through all of that stuff. It's an actual dump of something into the sky. These things are not fake. Lyme disease was a weapon. Like, we have ways of doing these things, but we also have science behind everything disproving it. Well, science must be right? Because science couldn't be wrong. Science couldn't be manipulated to give a narrative that would be false. Do you really, absolutely, truly believe that? I don't. I think science in itself was at one point in time, like everything else, was telling the truth. But like everything over time, enough manipulation, enough hands in the pot, and enough money to fund whatever theory you want funded can come to be true. So, you may not believe in chemtrails. I do. I've always believed in chemtrails. The fact that we are getting closer and closer to the actual truth of these things is what has me excited. Because it has me believing what I've always believed, that we have been manipulating and changing weather for the weathermen to be more accurate at telling me the weather for when I wake up tomorrow. Now, speaking of weather and manipulation, everybody remember the fires at the Palisades? All those beautiful homes that burned to the ground, that California had, an exact plot of where they wanted to drop their 15-minute city by 2028. Well, here we go, man. Mudslide in the Pacific Palisades. All the fire burnt areas become liquefied. We knew it was coming. Are you finally listening? This is what happens every time there's a fire. There's a fire. They can't get back. They dump all the chemicals. The weather changes. It gets damp. It gets moist. It gets liquefied. And then everything that's loose on top of the soil just comes tumbling down. And look at what this has done to everybody surrounded by it. It's absolutely horrific. Look at this mud. Look at this. This city is under 1.5 feet, 2 feet of mud. It's awful, everybody. It's absolutely awful. But this is what's happening. This is all by design. This is all by design. This is not by accident. This is not just the weather. It's more than the weather. Now, for my next one, government created weather tampering technology so the New World Order starves millions around the world. Control the rest. Senator, you're saying that the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions and control the rest?
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans.
No. You said worldwide.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts, sir. And at this point in time, we have all the documents to prove it. And if you think that 85 tornadoes takes place in the middle of our growing area by simultaneous accident, I'm sorry. With the equipment that's already set up internationally, and as bizarre as that is, it is proven and documented. We will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you.
That is wild, everybody. Wild. But again, this weather has been manipulated to do what? To seek and destroy and ruin everything that we have set in motion. To give them complete control over us. I truthfully do believe in my statement. They want us to have nothing and be happy. And they will do anything to make it happen. Absolutely anything. But this right here is proof that this was all by design, everybody. We can't ignore this shit anymore.
Let's talk about vaccine development, because we've heard how it happened, obviously, with COVID-19 starting from 2022, and how extraordinary the process was also in terms of the speed. How is development, adoption, and scaling of vaccine going on when it comes to different variants and subvariants? Because this is one of the big concerns as we're all here now and we're discussing. We understand the context, and this is a great deal.
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having me on the panel. So the great news versus 2020, where we are today, is we have manufacturing capacity. As Seth knows, when the pandemic happened, Moderna had made 100,000 doses in 2019 for the whole year. And I remember walking after Davos into the office of my head of manufacturing, and I say, how will we make $1 billion next year? And he looked at me a bit funny, say, what? I said, yeah, we need to make $1 billion next year. There's going to be a pandemic. And because of it, so he became the
Yeah, we need to make $1 billion next year. There's going to be a pandemic.
Oh, what? So the whole time, these guys been doing nothing but planning to make billions of dollars off of us because they already knew the pandemic was coming. This is all by design, man. There is more and more of this coming out. And again, it's the World Economic Forum. These people are so corrupt and so set on getting what they want, which is our full control. And they're going to do it however they can. And it's called make a test, make it positive, make them go get it. The more that get it, the more in control we are. Don't get it. Don't fall subject to this. It's bullshit, everybody. It's bullshit. We need to stop listening to these people. They do not have our benefit in mind. Ever. The World Economic Forum should be dismantled. It should be dismantled. We do not need it. And then this one here I thought was very interesting because if this is really what it means, if you break it down, kind of interesting. A little scary, but let's watch this video.
Yes, the COVID-19 doesn't exist. What does COVID-19 stand for?
A certificate of vaccination ID.
What does 19 stand for?
What, Dr. Day?
It stands for AI, artificial intelligence.
Wow, 1 in 9.
1 in 9 for AI. Look, I know you're probably like, man, you are digging. You're grasping at straws, right? That's what everybody's saying right now. You are grasping at straws, Topher. You know what? I might be, but at least I'm grasping. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know? What are you doing? I'm grasping at straws because I want to find the truth. I will not stand by blindly anymore and just believe what they tell me. I just can't, and I won't. And I'm sorry if that upsets many of you out there. It's just my way of thinking. But we have to be more open-minded. We have to look into things. We have to question everything that's happening around us everywhere. Is it for our benefit? Is it to cover something up? Is it to steal our money? What is it all about? One world order. That's what it's about, everybody. That's what all this is about. You will have nothing, and you will be happy. And you will live in our 15-minute cities. You will drive around in our electric cars, and you need 5 stars just to be able to go out and buy breakfast tomorrow morning. So get to work, everybody. Because in a world where we base everything off of what everybody else thinks we should be doing, that to me is the scariest thing I've ever thought about. So, it's real Black Mirror shit around here, people. Real Black Mirror shit. But, you know, I just hope everybody out there, you know, you think about this stuff. Dig into it. Ask questions. Don't take no or yes for an answer. And thank you, everybody, for subscribing, watching, and doing all the things you do for the podcast over all these years. Thank you so much. If you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe. And if you want to tell your story or be a guest, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. But you got to send it over to the official email of the podcast. The link tree's got all the links in it. TikTok is broken. I have been banned, but I put up a new account. So you can find it. And at this point, I hope everybody out there has an amazing Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. And I will talk to you later.